Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the count out. I just cut you off.
All right,
but that's
okay.
how we roll.
All right, no, that's how you roll, you punk. All right. Anyway,
Daniel Bryan. I did it again. You were about to speak, and I did it again.
Corey, this isn't funny. I know you're trying to.
No, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just.
No, I mean it's. Anyway, hey, so Daniel Bryan, he's a guy. He has a beard. We're gonna be talking about, is Daniel Bryan's career over? Should he retire? If he comes back, is there anything left for him to do?
Not necessarily should he retire, but
no, but that is definitely something we'll cover.
But what I really wanted to push is his push over. Because originally Daniel Bryan was never scheduled to be in the main event of WrestleMania 30. Reportedly, he was supposed to fight Sheamus. CM Punk walked out. They changed plans. Yeah. He got the world title. Fought Kane in a feud Extreme Rules. Supposed to fight Kane
one of the weirdest matches I've ever seen.
Exactly. But then when he was supposed to fight Kane in like a Buried Alive match or something like that, and then had to have neck surgery. They said it wasn't that bad, so they were going to keep the title on him until SummerSlam, but unfortunately, it got worse. Now he's got shoulder issues.
Well, I was surprised when they thought he was going to come back in a month or two. I mean, neck surgery, whether it's minor or not, it's still neck surgery.
No, I agree, but they just said, "Oh, it's minor, it shouldn't be a big deal." And
what they're saying is that I think he even said it was that his style of wrestling is so hard on the body that it caught up to him. So that means if he came back, he'd probably have to tone down the style a little bit. But then again, we've seen guys come back like Chris Sabin,
diving headbutt as well. They said this one.
That's his style.
Yeah,
I don't know where.
Well, that's just one of the moves that he uses.
All right. Well, like I was saying, like. For example, I'm just saying, like, for people like Chris Sabin came back from 2 ACL tears, and I don't think he really changed up his style that much. Maybe a little bit grounded more, but not too much for the point where it's like, wow, Chris Sabin's completely different. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's definitely possible that Daniel Bryan can come back and he'll be the same. You know what I mean? He'll be right there. But, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, because apparently WWE doesn't, like, they don't trust people after they get injured. I mean, that's obviously been seen with Fandango, with Dolph Ziggler. And that's not something that I feel is just reported. I feel like that is actually proven by those examples. I mean, I do think that...
Well, you look at it, Ziggler was so hot, he had such a big push, won the title, and he had the 2 concussions, and now look at him now.
Yeah. And what I was going to say was that, I mean, will the fans care as much about Daniel Bryan?
Well, right
I feel like
pushing the Cesaros or pushing the Reigns.
But I feel like Daniel Bryan kind of was falling a little bit after he won the title because, I mean, people were getting kind of sick of it. And I was kind of getting sick of Daniel Bryan. I like Daniel Bryan, but then I was never a fan of this whole, like, yes movement. I thought it felt so forced. I mean, yeah, the crowd reaction was natural at first, but then I felt like it was starting to get more forced.
Well, I know when you really hated it was the Occupy.
I hated the Occupy Raw segment. Everyone thought that was, like, the greatest thing ever. They're like, it was just so... I don't know, what was the word I used to describe it? I'm trying to think. I just thought it was so over the top, so forced, so just kind of dorky. I was kind of cringing while watching it. I mean, he's up there, he's like, yeah, the people, we want that. I mean, I just didn't like it. And I didn't like the way Daniel Bryan, he was never amazing at promos, but his promos were so bad. And I'll be honest, his beard and his hair were just getting completely out of control. Where I was like, I know that's part of the character, but it was just too much. It was coming to the point where he needed that to, like... Now, obviously, people sometimes have gimmicks to, like, you know, put themselves up and get themselves on the map and get themselves noticed. But I felt like it was just too much of an identity where people, like, you know what I mean? I just didn't like that. But I digress. We're getting way off topic here. But pretty much what I'm saying is that I don't think it'll be the same if he comes back. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could get the world title again. I mean, we don't know. I mean,
now, what we got right now, if he comes back... Let's say SummerSlam. After SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar's world champion. They're not going to drop the title to Daniel Bryan. That's not going to happen. What they want, at least,
and they would not have Brock Lesnar lose to Daniel Bryan.
Brock Lesnar's going to lose to Reigns at WrestleMania 31. That's what speculation is. That's what everyone's assuming because Reigns are pushing the top guy. So here's another thing: Daniel Bryan comes back. Well, they're pushing Roman Reigns as the top babyface of the company, and also from what speculation, whatever WWE says that. They're pretty upset that Daniel Bryan got hurt when they really needed him most, when they put him on the title on him and all that stuff. And would that affect, is WWE going to hold that against him? Like Lucas mentioned, Fandango, Ziggler, these other guys that got hurt right when they were becoming champions, and they just fell from grace.
And that same thing happened to, unfortunately, Barrett, because I remember he had like a shoulder injury, and they said he was going to win Money in the Bank, reportedly. And then it took him a while, because remember, he was kind of like losing all these matches. He got the Intercontinental title, but he was losing after he came back. Then this whole Bad News Barrett thing came, he was starting picking up, and now he got injured again. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's not the wrestler's fault most of the time. Most of the time it's just freak accidents, it happens. And another video I want to make is how WWE's travel schedule is just ridiculous. All these house shows, just too much. There's too much for these guys. I mean, it's bound to happen. And WWE, and I think that's part of the reason why Punk left. I mean, you could say, yeah, Punk left for, like, booking reasons, apparently, and all that, which I think is just stupid. And, if you're leaving for that. But I think it was injuries, too. Because a lot of people were saying that he was, like, really hurting, and that after he left, he looked a lot younger. So, definitely, that's sucks. But, as I was saying, I don't see them, like you said, with even Reigns coming. I mean, they don't have room to push Bryan right now. And yeah, if they have Lesnar to go to Reigns, then Reigns wouldn't drop it to Bryan unless Bryan becomes a heel or Reigns becomes a heel. And then they probably want to give it to Cesaro, maybe eventually, or give it back to Cena. They have their Ortons. They have Batista, who might come back. They have...
Batista will come back. He's just promoting...
They even have potentially, like, Sheamus they might want to give it back to. Maybe even Del Rio. You never know. Probably not Del Rio, but you never know what they're going to plan. I personally think that... Well, this goes into another video I want to make. But I'd say they should almost separate the WWE World Title again. I feel like
They're not.
Well, the thing is that WWE sucks at booking, which we're gonna have a video about in a couple days. Just so Corey gets the order down, so we'll have to say that. But it's that I feel like WWE has so much time that they could be able to cover. All right, WWE Title, World Title, Intercontinental United States Women's Tag Team. They should be able to cover all those. They have good storylines for them, but they suck so bad at storylines. They're so awful, WWE. That they can't do it. And that's what sucks. And that honestly ruins people like Daniel Bryan, where that he's come back, you can give him a run with the world title, start getting him back, and then, give him that for a year or two, then get him back to the WWE title while Reigns is at the WWE title level and all that.
No, I know what you're saying.
Don't talk too much about the breaking up titles, though. We need to focus
but they
on
won't
Bryan.
really... I don't think they're going to really do that. I think they're just going to plan on keeping it the one title.
Yeah.
I think they're actually thinking about getting rid of the world title and just making it the one WWE championship now. They carry around the two, which obviously I don't know where. That's why I'm just trying to think. And their plan right now, they got such a distinct plan right now with Lesnar becoming champion, and they're not going to let him. I know he's not going to lose to Daniel Bryan, because originally I think the original plan was for him to come back at SummerSlam and for him to beat Daniel Bryan to become the WWE champion. Yeah. And now that Daniel Bryan's, if he comes back. When Lesnar's champion, he's not going to drop
and
it.
And then one thing I want to touch on, because I think we're beating a dead horse by pretty much saying that, all right, Daniel Bryan, there might not be... there won't be room for him. There won't be room for him. That's pretty much what we're saying. Now, I don't think he'll be dead. If he comes back, he'll still probably be featured in top storylines. He'll be an upper mid-card guy, but I don't think he'll ever be able to reach that pinnacle of winning at WrestleMania again. I don't think it will ever happen. And I think it
could happen, but it's a slim chance.
It's a shame because he seems like such a nice guy in real life, and I always root for the guys who are like... I said I don't like a lot of the things they did with him with the whole yes movement and all that stuff, but as the guy, I do respect him. All right? At least from what I heard. He could be a total dick in real life. We don't know.
Just from what we're hearing.
What we hear, from what I see from him, he seems like a really genuine guy. And, but... The one thing I was going to say is that if it's so severe, if he's, having all this weakness, do you think he should retire?
Yeah.
I think he should.
Oh, absolutely.
And the thing is, oh, he's so young, but he could become a trainer. I'm sure, now, even with WWE budget cuts, I think they'd still keep him around to train with the guys because he's so talented. If Daniel Bryan's working injured all the time, he's like, I don't want to go out again. He starts taking the, pills.
Medication, yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't want him to paralyze himself either. It's not worth it just to wrestle a few more years. I know you're passionate about it. I know you love it. And I know so many guys have trouble quitting it, but there has to be a time where it's like, all right, time to... If it's his time, it's his time. He ended on a high note, though. He won WrestleMania. He probably accomplished all of his dreams by doing that. Yeah, he didn't get the long reign, but he won the title. He proved everybody wrong. He showed that he could do it, and... if he had to, I'd say retire, work as a trainer, maybe be a manager, maybe, heck, even be a GM or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know if he'd do great as a GM, but pretty much what I'm saying is that the moral of the story is that Daniel Bryan's time might be up. It might be done for his top guy, being the top guy. It might be done for his career in wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't think WWE wants that to happen because as much as, you hear people saying like, oh, he's not big enough, oh, he sucks on the mic, They still obviously want him. He probably still pushes merchandise. Fans
He's
still
the number
like
2
him, and
seller.
he's probably a nice guy backstage. He probably does a lot of good publicity for them. But at this stage of the game, with the direction WWE's going, but then again, WWE always changes. WWE is
Always evolving.
I wouldn't say evolving, kind of maybe. I don't know. I feel like WWE's not taking. I don't know. I haven't been watching Raw a lot. I haven't been watching any WWE as much, and I know that's probably bad. I should probably watch it more if I'm doing we're doing a wrestling podcast. But I'll be honest, a lot of people say "Oh, so burned out on the TNA product. I was so burned out on this." I've been burned out on WWE for a long time. I feel like I know. I just want to give a quick blurb about this. I feel like WWE. People always complain about TNA with their talking segments. I feel like WWE has 10 times more talking segments.
Not as much.
And maybe that's because
lately they've been having more wrestling.
Okay. So I was gonna say maybe it's because it's a longer show, but then again, because it's a longer show, you'd expect more focus on the titles, but they don't do that. But that's a completely other video, which we'll cover later on. But pretty much, I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about Daniel Bryan. Do you think he had a worthwhile career to maybe call it quits if it's this hard? Do you think he should try to push through, come again? Do you think he'll have another chance at becoming the top guy? I don't know. Sadly, I don't think it will. But
We'll have to wait and see, I guess, where it kind of goes. I mean, we haven't heard anything about him lately, so we'll kind of see.
But I think that's a good idea. I think it's good that they're not obviously it's good to, if someone's injured to keep them kind of on TV. But I think it's good in Daniel Bryan's case. Let's test the waters. Let's see how people react. Let's see if people truly want him. I don't think they're trying to purposely make people forget about him, and also you obviously want him to recover. You don't want him to be on the road,
I'll say, actually, I'm going to say one last thing before we end off. We mentioned how CM Punk will be, Daniel Bryan will be remembered and all that stuff. Will people forget about him? And we haven't been hearing as much of the yes chants, but we have been hearing some CM Punk chants. That's when AJ Lee came back.
So are we saying that maybe CM Punk's left a bigger impact than Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan was just a fad? He wasn't something like Stone Cold, where Stone Cold people still say the what chants, Chris Jericho.
Exactly.
Ooh, that's a really interesting point. I don't know, because then goes into something. Do you think that if Daniel Bryan retired right now, or let's just say he announced, he's like, guys, I'm retiring, I've given my life to the business, but I just can't do it anymore. Do you think he could be inducted to the Hall of Fame? Do you think WWE would put him in the Hall of Fame?
I feel like WWE would, because when somebody gets injured like that right away at a young age, I feel like they would just induct him. But do I think he deserved it? No.
But, okay, here's what I'm going to say with that, though. Because I feel like, in a way, he definitely did have that big movement. He showed a lot of growth in WWE. He obviously gave a lot to the business, which, even though WWE likes homegrown talent, apparently they do respect people who, work their way up. They do. They do. But, I don't know. Keep in mind, they gave the Hall of Fame to Edge, and I don't know if Edge completely deserved it. A lot of people would say he did, but I feel like
I would say Edge deserved it, but Edge deserved to be inducted later on.
Yeah.
But again, you know how I feel about the Hall of Fame, that it's too early, they induct people.
Yeah. But then, and like we said, injuries and death, that's a perfect way for people to get inducted to the Hall of Fame. They always do that. WWE always does that. I know this is bringing up probably a touchy subject and all that, but, I loved Eddie Guerrero. Everybody loved Eddie Guerrero. And, I read his book. I watched his little, the movie documentary they did on him. He seemed like a really great guy, who went, obviously, through tough times, but really fought back. And I think that's obviously why he also justified in the Hall of Fame. But when I was looking at his career, I'm like, did he truly deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Up to that point, he had the one WWE title reign, a couple Intercontinental title reigns, a couple other title reigns. But I was like, I was thinking, I'm like, did he really do enough to justify that Hall of Fame spot? Yeah, he had great matches. Yeah, he was a great guy. Yeah, he fought through a lot of demons. And, now that I'm saying it, yeah, he probably did deserve it, but it's one of those things where it's like, does WWE just give it to people sometimes because it was like a sympathy card?
I feel like we're getting so off topic.
I know.
We get so off topic all the time.
But, it's a discussion.
Really, this is almost his own video.
Yeah, and this is just a discussion, I guess.
Well, I guess so.
And you gotta let it go. It's natural. It's a natural core. You have to realize that. This is just how, video making goes. You gotta go off tangents, because that's how we bring up good topics.
That's very true.
And it's just us, this the whole count out. We're the original count out. No one else can take that from us. No one else can add a little podcast to the end of their the count out name and claim it as their own. And, that's just how it is. We're just here to have conversations. If it leads one way, then it leads one way, and that's just the way it goes. But I guess, that's right. Maybe we'll come back to that topic later on. But pretty much, we're ending this video again.
With Daniel Bryan can he still come back after this injury? Can he still be relevant, or
Is he gonna?
if he comes back, will he just fall into the mid card like
Fall
we've
into
seen
obscurity.
so many others, or will he have to call it quits? And
Will
he
he
be
be
remembered?
remembered? Will he be remembered? And will that Hall of Fame induction be in his future potentially? We
But
shall see. And
leave a comment down below on what you think about Daniel Bryan.
all right, thanks for watching, guys.
Rock and roll.
Bye.